Over the weekend, we saw the Department of Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga has come under fire for tweeting a series of images of women, some in rather exposing outfits, reading books. Mhlanga has apologized, saying this was part of a campaign to encourage people to read. Meanwhile, Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga has distanced herself and the department from half-naked pictures shared on Twitter alongside the department's Read to Lead initiative. The sharing of the photographs sparked an outcry from Twitter users who said they found them rather distasteful. Now, to speak more on the matter, I am now joined by the Tamara Mathebula. Of course, she's from the Commission for Gender Equality. We're going to sit down with her and find out what her sentiments are regarding this issue. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for having me.
I mean, this is a rather interesting time for these tweets to come under fire. I was reading a statement from Elijah, who said that he'd been engaging in the use of these photographs since 2016, as early as 2016, 2017, even 2018. Why has it come under fire this time round?
Yes, let me actually say that I think it was a shock for the nation as well as for the Commission for Gender Equality to see those tweets now. We have never seen anything like that coming from the Department of Basic Education. Yeah. We do know that basic education is actually looking at their curriculum, yes, particularly curriculum under life orientation. And we're talking about life orientation, which is offered by Department of Basic Education. And if I say basic education, I'm talking about a particular target group of a particular age. So now, if you look at the information that has just come out now, it's actually circulating in the social media, that information, including the pictures pictures of half-naked women, and some are completely naked if you've looked at all the pictures. It's something that we feel that those pictures are really distasteful, but again, it's something that is actually saying something about women. And it's not for the Department of Basic Education pupils. If you look at the pictures themselves, they really are not meant for certain ages within the department, and we are very, very concerned. I think from the Gender Commission, we actually saying that we are quite worried, and at some point we may have to engage the department about what has come out soon.
Some of the thoughts or sentiments coming through that it's objectifying women in a particular way. I just want to know, though, in terms of the approval of these images and also the fact that Elijah is a public figure, he's a spokesperson. I mean, what is some of the consequent management techniques that needs to happen for anyone who is in a public platform, occupying a public role as well? How do they, I mean, what are some of the benchmarks and criteria that one has to go through before you can tweet, post, and align yourself with certain images, messaging, campaigns, etc.?
That is so true. Actually, we know that with each and every institution, there are spokespersons like Elijah, and there are people that are responsible for content development. And at this point in time, we're wondering whether this was an individual trying to run a campaign on a personal level on behalf of the department, because what actually alarmed us was the silence of the minister herself. She didn't say anything, and we were also hoping that perhaps the MEC for Education in Gauteng, MEC Panyaza Lusufi, would probably even come in. But there hasn't been anything since yesterday, until lately that, there were some other tweets that were saying the minister would like to distance herself from all of that.
Yes, that is.
So we're now wondering whether this is a solo campaign, whether this is something that should actually go into the content, because within those tweets, he is actually saying that I want to push a bit of boundaries. I want to push a narrative. And from my background, I know the contemporary issues and the content that needs to go out there. So I think for us, it actually now begins to say, perhaps this is an individual campaign, but we will be engaging the department to say, first of all, if you recruit your spokesperson, if you recruit the people, what are the basic requirements?
Yeah.
And again, even if you recruit then, perhaps 20, 30, 40 years ago, do these people go through some kind of a gender training? Because I think, you know, from where I was sitting yesterday, I was saying that perhaps we need to bring all the spokespersons of the departments in one room and train them there for a week so that they are gender sensitive. Whatever information that goes out, they know. But what is most worrying about the pictures is that those pictures are adults.
Yeah.
They are not for the grades and they are not for young people at all.
I mean, we also heard Parliament Committee wanting action against Elijah, basically deeming them sexist. What do you think is some of the, as a consequence of this? What do you think he should do in his, as a leader, as a spokesperson, but also just to nip this in the bud and it not obviously happen again?
I know that he has actually apologized, but you know, people around us are beginning to question the apology itself, whether that apology was sincere, and people were saying that it was, you know, they felt like it was a by the way thing. But I think one of the consequences should be that perhaps the minister needs to say something, the minister needs to do something, the DG of the department, because I know that the DG is the accounting officer, and Mr. Elijah Mhlanga reports to the DG. So from the Gender Commission perspective, we are planning to have a meeting, an agent meeting with the Director General of the Department of Basic Education to come and account and tell us what would be the consequences, what is the department going to do about it.
And the turnaround strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, these images are out there in the public, and obviously children have seen this. So how do you address that to them as well, based on the campaign Read to Lead as well?
Yes, yes. So we will be speaking about the consequences. We will allow the department to think through and to tell us what the consequences will be. And we will actually be speaking about time frames to say this needs to happen at what time and what needs to happen after that.
Ms. Mathebula, thank you very much for joining us. We'll leave it there. Of course, Tamara Mathebula from the Commission for Gender Equality, just chatting to us about what is next, some of the consequence management approaches that needs to happen based on the Department of Basic Education. Spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga, of course, tweeted some rather raunchy images, you know, surrounding that Read to Lead campaign that has many on social media in the country questioning some of its practices. Of course, the Minister of Basic, the Minister also coming out and distancing herself as well as the department from these tweets. And now we, of course, await to see what the results and outcomes about his apology and the steps taken to turn around this as a